Hello, friends and family and strangers alike. One of the most fascinating things I think there is on Earth is lightning. But what you're looking at isn't lightning. What you're looking at are blood vessels in my eye, specifically my right eye. You see, last week I noticed a kind of blurriness in my right eye on around Wednesday, so it's been about a week. And then by Friday, I could see a lot of little bubbles, maybe 500 to 1,000 bubbles there. So I sent a message to my doctor by my chart. Unfortunately, not because of my chart, but my doctor, she wants to have family life, of course, which is perfectly understandable. So I didn't get an answer until Monday, and the answer was to go to an ophthalmologist. But it was too late in the day by the time I received that information. Which I don't remember what time the message was sent to me, so I don't know if it was, if it was my fault for checking too late or if the doctor just didn't get it to it earlier because she was busy with her job as a doctor, because doctors are busy. Anyways, so Tuesday, I should explain, when I sent the message to the doctor, it was to inform her about the bubbles, and that when I looked on, I think the Mayo Clinic website, it had said if you have these symptoms, you should contact your doctor. By Monday, 2 days ago, my vision in my right eye was a bit blurry. It was like there was a little bit of fog in there. Although my kids looked and they couldn't see anything with a flashlight. So that was a little bit confusing, but I wasn't terribly surprised by that. And I also had a bit of a headache back here. So Tuesday, it was a little bit worse. There was kind of a blotchy pattern in there where I couldn't see at all. So I called the nurse's hotline, and the lady asked me a bunch of questions, the nurse, and then she said, go to the ER. So I went to the ER. As quickly as I could. I finished my lunch, and off I went. And I was there for 4 hours. A lot of that time I was just sleeping while I was waiting for them because it was busy. Not slammed, but it was busy. And in that time, they put an IV into my left hand and took, 3 or 4 samples of blood. And eventually I was put into an examination room where I was told that I was going to have a CT scan, but the doctor came in and he examined my eye. He couldn't see anything wrong, and he canceled the CT scan and said I needed to see a specialist. So he said, tomorrow morning you'll be seeing a specialist at such and such a location. Cincinnati Eye Institute is what it happens to be. And so I was like, okay. He couldn't tell me anything because they don't have the equipment in the emergency room to do the specialized examinations that an ophthalmologist would do, or other eye experts like that. So after 4 hours of there, they sent me home, and this morning I got a call a little bit after 8 saying, yeah, you can come in at 9 o'clock if you'd like. And I said, I'll be there as soon as I can. Now, at that point, my vision was a little bit worse. I didn't have a headache, and I noticed a little bit, about a 1 on a scale of 1 to 10 for pain in my eye. So that was not, a positive sign. And, my opinion was that I probably had an infection from something. Sorry, my cat keeps on attacking me. He wants to play with me. And so I went there as rapidly as possible, got there just before 9. Had to wait a while, slept some, read some, and they did a bunch of tests. They tested the blood pressure, the pressure in my eyes. This was 16. This was 28. The normal range is 10, I believe, to 20. And so obviously this one was higher than normal. And the doctor felt that there were, the doctor, once he finally saw me, after a few other tests were done, he felt that there was an infection. And he said he had to send me downstairs to the specialists because apparently they're more specialized than him. So I was upstairs in urgent care, and urgent care sent me downstairs to one of the specialists there. But they had taken pictures of my eye, not the one that I showed you earlier, a different one. They had checked my field of vision with a special machine, which shows dots of light in a field, a white field of different intensities. So some of them were easy to see, some of them were not. Especially with this eye, it was quite difficult sometimes. They, of course, dilated my eyes, and there were, they did at ER. Yesterday they had done a test of my visual acuity. They did that again today, and this is 2015 for eyesight, which is better than normal, and this is horrible. So they didn't even bother telling me the number for that one. It was bad, and it's worse now than it was this morning. The headache came back for a while. It's gone now. Then the doctor said, okay, well, it could be HIV. It could be herpes simplex, herpes zoster, which you might know as chickenpox or shingles. It could be cytomegalovirus, which is one of those other incurable diseases. Then he said that's usually associated with, like HIV, with immune system being compromised, and Toxo, like toxoplasmosis. He's leaning toward herpes zoster at this time, but he can't give a diagnosis. He took a sample out of my eye, which was interesting, a little bit uncomfortable. He also injected my eye with some medicine and tried to normalize the pressure in my eye because it had increased in the pain had increased to a 3. So it's feeling better, but it feels uncomfortable because of the needle having been in there. And then he said, okay, I'm going to need you to have some blood work done and stuff, and sent me on my way. So I had been there from 9 until noon, and then I had been there from about 1:45 until I would say about 4:15. So yeah, another 4 hours or so, more than 4 hours, I should say. And my cat really, really wants to play with me. Say hello, kitty cat. That's Sherlock. Okay, so anyways, getting back to the story here. So I immediately went to my PCP, or primary care physician's office, and to the lab there. And I called ahead to let them know I was on my way because they were getting ready to close. Got there, they drew my blood, and then I went and got my x-ray done downstairs from that. And I came home, and my right eye is it's to the point where it's almost useless. I mean, I can see, if it's bright enough, I can see the rectangle of my screen, and the darkness of this shelving unit against my wall. I can see other things, some details, but it's pretty well useless. So best case scenario, he said, is it's going to take 2 to 6 weeks of going there twice a week, and I think he means injecting into the eye twice a week. I did get some eye drops, and there are some other medications I will be picking up at the pharmacist tomorrow. And then he said, well, best case scenario, because we caught it early on, he said it's acute retinal necrosis. Now, necrosis means death of cells, and the retinal is, of course, about the eye, and acute is, sudden onset. And I said, well, what's the worst case scenario? And he said, well, your eye could die, and you'd have to have it removed and get a prosthetic. I don't know. I don't know if I want a prosthetic, but it could be kind of fun, having an eyeball you could pop out and freak people out with. We'll see. Hopefully I won't get to that point at all. Hopefully this will all be over in a month to a month and a half, and I'll be posting a happy message saying, hey, guys, I'm okay. My eye's still in my head, and it's working pretty well, or it's better yet, it's working perfectly. But I just wanted to update you and let you know what's going on, and thanks for watching. And if you have an opportunity to do something that's good for the world and stuff, like take that opportunity.